And joining me now is Minnesota Representative Angie Craig. She's also the ranking member of the House Agriculture Committee. Representative Craig, I'm glad to see you. Let's get into this because Republicans claim getting rid of these initiatives will promote merit-based assessment. Is that realistic? And what is the real-world impact?
Well, before I came to Congress, and that was only 6 years ago, it's great to be with you this afternoon. I worked in two healthcare businesses for almost 22 years. And, the point of these programs is really to expand the number of people of underrepresented groups in your community that have access to these positions, qualified people. The irony of eliminating some of these programs, which really only expand the pool of people while having Pete Hegseth be appointed the Secretary of Defense in our country, has been a really astounding week. I think even members of Congress have had to take a bit of a beat this week, take a breath with the flurry of executive orders. And at the end of the day, I hope we all realize that those executive orders and the flurry of them, that is the point of this. What they didn't do at all this week in Congress was anything to lower the cost of groceries or health care or the cost of housing or anything like that. So let's buckle up and get ready to fight.
Let me pick up on that because his many executive actions on day one included reversing several Biden administration actions on health care, like the efforts to lower prescription drug costs for Medicare and Medicaid recipients, enhancing the Affordable Care Act. Experts say most people won't be directly impacted because many initiatives weren't yet implemented. But are you concerned that Trump appears to be taking actions that will hurt rather than help everyday Americans, maybe just because Biden's name was attached to them?
Well, I think that's exactly what's happening. And look, you're talking to a member of Congress who worked with this president when he was president before. He signed 4 of my bills into law. So this isn't a matter of just arbitrarily disagreeing with Donald Trump. We passed a bill that would cap generic drugs for folks who are on Medicare by at $2. We passed bills that would cap the cost of prescription drugs for America's seniors at $2,000 a year. We fixed something called the family glitch, which allowed more Americans access to health insurance. We extended the Affordable Care Act tax credits. Those need to be extended again, or healthcare costs are going to go up. What I note is many of the executive actions this week and much of the rhetoric from the administrations to start at least had nothing to do with lowering cost for Americans. And I am completely focused on this, and I think this is where Democrats have to be focused.
Look, I know that you're also working on final negotiations on the Farm Bill. It got a 1-year extension that was last year. So explain why this bill is important and what it's all about, and is bipartisanship going to get this thing done?
Well, it's the only way it gets done is on a bipartisan basis with a 2-seat majority for 3 months and maybe a couple of new members on the Republican side in a few more months. Republicans simply don't have the votes for a farm bill. In fact, you've got 30 to 50 Republicans who are never going to vote for a farm bill. I think we can get it done if we come together and work across the aisle. I certainly am optimistic and look forward to working with my Republican colleague, G.T. Thompson, who I'll be with on Sunday here at the Farm Bureau panel. So I'm looking forward to working with them, but it's going to be tough. If they come after the nutrition title as part of the budget reconciliation process, not only is that going to take away much needed funding for hungry kids and seniors and veterans, but let's not forget that that program supports the crops that producers grow, and it supports ranchers, it supports the truck drivers that drive the food to the grocery store and the clerks that put it on the shelf. So that program is part of the Farm Bill, and we need to understand that our food supply chain is completely tied to the Farm Bill. And there's all kinds of other things, Alex. Mass deportation is going to lead to.
I want to ask you about that because they are intertwined here. The first efforts of Trump's mass deportation plans, they've been carried out. There are concerns that could impact the farming industry. You have Senator Dick Durbin, who asked Trump's nominee for Secretary of Agriculture about that, citing estimates that up to 40% of farm workers are undocumented. Listen to this.
Can we expect this administration to be raiding farms and going after the immigrant farm workers?
The president's vision of a secure border and a mass deportation at a scale that matters is something I support. My commitment is to work with all of you to work to solve and do everything we can to make sure that none of these farms or dairy producers are put out of business.
But how? How big a concern is this? Will prices go up for Americans if the workforce is depleted? Will farms risk going under without the manpower they rely on?
I think that's the concern within the farm economy right now, is that mass deportation is going to lead to higher prices for American consumers. And let us be clear here. We need to make sure that we have a secure border. I don't think anyone would argue that undocumented immigrants who commit crimes should be deported. But these are people who we rely on in our ag economy. And what my producers say is, many of these people have have overstayed their paperwork. How do we make sure that people who are here, they're working, they're paying taxes, their kids in our schools, keeping our rural communities safe and our schools open? How can we begin to integrate them into our country? Things like reforming the H-2A system so that more of them can be here in a documented fashion. That's what we got to do, Al. Got to secure our borders, but we have to reform this broken immigration system that we're all living under today.
Minnesota Representative Angie Craig, it's good to see you again. Thank you so much.